There are boos, and then there's hate. Not just heckling from the cheap seats, or an angry tweet here and there. We're talking decades of hate. Fists flying, jerseys burned, fans turning on legends, entire arenas united by one thing, pure spite. In the NBA, you can drop 40 a night and still be the villain. You can win a ring and lose the crowd. Sometimes greatness isn't enough. Sometimes it's the very way you play, the things you say, or the enemies you make along the way. That turns you from MVP to public enemy number one. From cold-blooded trash talkers to dirty defenders. From floppers to backstabbers. These are the players who weren't just booed, they were despised. This is NBA Explained, and today we're diving into the most hated players in NBA history and why they just couldn't stay out of the crosshairs. Rick Barry, the original NBA villain. Before flopping, before load management, before Twitter beefs, the NBA had Rick Barry, a cold-blooded scorer and a certified jerk. Barry wasn't just disliked, he was hated. By opponents, by teammates, even by broadcasters. He talked down to everyone, acted like he was the smartest guy in the room, and most of the time he probably thought he was. Teammates said he was impossible to play with. He'd bark at them, belittle them, freeze them out if he didn't like their game. Fans booed him, players avoided him, and still, he dropped 30 a night and never flinched. He shot free throws underhand, old school granny style, and made over 90% of them. Not because he was trying to be humble, but because it worked, and he loved making you look stupid. Teammates were heard saying, "Rick Barry is a hell of a player, but I'd rather lose without him than win with him." He once left the NBA in his prime to chase money in the ABA, and sued the league when they tried to stop him. When he came back, his image was toast. Rick Barry made 12 All-Star teams, won a title, made the Hall of Fame. But his legacy? It's complicated. Because when you burn every bridge in sight, people remember the smoke, not the stats. Bill Laimbeer, the enforcer everyone hated. If you built a player in a lab just to make people angry, you'd get Bill Laimbeer. He wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't flashy, but he was mean, calculated, and completely unapologetic. He played basketball like it was hockey, elbows, shoves, hard fouls, all part of the plan. As the face of the bad boy Pistons, Laimbeer was public enemy number one in the late 80s. Every team hated Detroit, and everyone hated Bill. Larry Bird couldn't stand him. Michael Jordan wanted to fight him. Even refs seemed tired of him. But Laimbeer loved being the villain. He flopped when it helped, threw punches when it didn't. He'd foul you hard, then smile while you lost your cool. It was mind games, and he owned the rule book. Magic Johnson once said it flat out, "There's a reason nobody shakes his hand after the game." The Pistons thrived off the hate, winning back-to-back titles by bullying their way through the league. And Laimbeer, he leaned in harder. He once said if he played today, he'd be suspended every week. After retirement, he coached in the WNBA, but never apologized for how he played. To this day, fans debate if he was dirty or just doing whatever it took to win. But ask anyone from that era who they hated most. They'll all say the same name: Bill Laimbeer. Isaiah Thomas, the smiling assassin. He smiled like a politician, spoke with charm, led with poise. But underneath it all, Isaiah Thomas was ruthless. As the leader of the bad boy Pistons, Isaiah wasn't just the engine, he was the architect. Bill Laimbeer threw the elbows, but Zeke gave the green light. He wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the loudest, but he was absolutely the most dangerous. He slashed through defenses, tore apart legends, and never apologized for any of it. Jordan, Magic, Bird, he took them all on. And more than once he won. But it came at a price. Isaiah built a dynasty and burned every bridge along the way. He was accused of dirty play, of leading walk-offs, of orchestrating cheap shots. Most infamously, he led the Pistons' cold exit in 1991, walking off the floor without shaking hands after Jordan finally beat them. The respect wasn't mutual. It didn't stop there. When the Dream Team formed in '92, Isaiah, a surefire Hall of Famer, was left off the roster. No injury, no excuse, just left out. Jordan didn't say it outright, but the message was clear. We don't want him. Isaiah's resume is bulletproof. Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, one of the best point guards ever. but his reputation still polarizing. Some remember the smile. Others remember the sucker punches. Either way, Zeke made sure you'd never forget him. Kevin Garnett, the wolf in a jersey. You didn't play against Kevin Garnett. You survived him. From the second the ball tipped, he was barking in your face, clapping in your ear, living inside your head. He didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to break you. KG was pure chaos in a 7-foot frame, foaming at the mouth, banging his chest, talking non-stop. Sometimes it was just trash talk. Other times it crossed every line imaginable. He allegedly told Tim Duncan, "Happy Mother's Day," after Duncan's mother had passed. He called Charlie Villanueva a cancer patient. He even got under Carmelo's skin so bad, Melo waited for him outside the team bus. And yet, nobody ever really held him accountable. Because KG backed it up. He was a defensive monster, an MVP, and the soul of the 2008 Celtics. That title run, fueled by emotion, intimidation, and straight-up mental warfare. But ask players who faced him, they'll tell you he was the worst to go against. Not because he hurt you, but because he never shut up, never backed off, and never respected boundaries. To Celtics fans, he's a legend. To everyone else, Kevin Garnett was a menace. LeBron James, the king of love and hate. He was supposed to be the chosen one. And he was. But that didn't stop millions from turning on him. LeBron James came into the league with impossible hype and somehow surpassed it. But greatness doesn't protect you from hate. In fact, it might guarantee it. For years, LeBron was seen as too polished, too corporate, too controlled. Then came the decision. One sentence. "I'm taking my talents to South Beach." And just like that, he became the villain. Cleveland burned his jersey. Fans called him a sellout. The league treated Miami like the enemy. It didn't help that LeBron leaned into it. Showboating, mocking opponents, building a super team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. People hated the flopping, hated the hand-picked rosters, hated the image of control, even when it worked. And when he started speaking on politics, even more hate. But with time and rings, the tone changed. He returned to Cleveland, delivered a title, and became the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Still, the noise never fully died. Because with LeBron, you're either all in or all out. To many, he's the GOAT. To others, just a stat-padding, spotlight-chasing frontrunner. Either way, he's been living under a microscope since high school and never blinked. Draymond Green, the NBA's modern villain. If chaos had a jersey number, it'd be 23, and it'd be Draymond Green. Every dynasty needs an enforcer. For the Warriors, that's Draymond. Loud, physical, unapologetic, and always on the edge of ejection. He's not just hated by fans. Players can't stand him either. Nut shots, plural. Flops, legendary. Fouls that feel personal. He kicked Steven Adams, stomped on Sabonis, punched his own teammate Jordan Poole in practice. And in every moment, he doubled down. But make no mistake, he's not just an agitator. He's a 4-time champ, a defensive player of the year, and the emotional engine of a dynasty. Still, it's that same emotion that gets him in trouble. Texts, suspensions, ejections. He once got suspended in the NBA Finals, and the Warriors lost the series. To Golden State fans, he's a hero. To everyone else, he's a walking technical foul. The league has never quite figured out how to handle Draymond. He's part old-school enforcer, part modern troll, and 100% comfortable being hated. Because if you ask Draymond, the boos are just confirmation. He's doing his job. Patrick Beverley, the NBA's ultimate pest. Patrick Beverley doesn't care if you like him. In fact, if you don't, that's exactly how he wants it. He's not a superstar. He's not dropping 30, but he'll pick you up full court, talk trash the entire way, and somehow get in your head without scoring a single bucket. Beverley built his brand on being a pest. Scrappy, relentless, annoying. He dives at knees, bumps into stars, screams after missed shots. Ask Russell Westbrook, who accused him of tricking y'all into thinking he plays defense. Ask Chris Paul, who Bev shoved in the back in the final seconds of a playoff blowout. Fans hate him for the flops, the barking, the dirty plays. Players hate him because they know it's not an act. He'll do whatever it takes. even if it crosses a line. But that edge, it kept him in the league. From undrafted to multiple contracts, Beverley fought tooth and nail to make it and stayed by being the guy no one wants to deal with. He's not here for handshakes. He's here to ruin your rhythm, your confidence, and your night. And if you boo him, he'll call it music. Reggie Miller, the trash talk king of clutch. Some players kill you with skill. Reggie Miller killed you with threes and insults. He wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest. But when the lights came on and the stakes got high, Reggie became your worst nightmare. He talked trash before, during, and after the shot. He thrived in enemy territory, especially New York. Just ask Spike Lee. Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1, Reggie scores 8 points in 9 seconds against the Knicks. In Game 5, he turns to Spike, chokes himself, taunts the entire Garden. From that moment, he wasn't just a shooter. He was a villain. Fans hated his smirk, his flops, his habit of falling on every jumper and demanding a whistle. And he loved every second of it. But here's the thing, he backed it up. Clutch shots, game winners, playoff daggers, all while running off screens and running his mouth. Opponents wanted to fight him. Crowds wanted to shut him up. But they couldn't, because he never stopped shooting. To Indiana, he's a legend. To New York, he's a sworn enemy. Reggie Miller didn't care if you loved him. He just wanted to break you and then remind you who did it. Kevin Durant, the superstar who broke the code. Kevin Durant was the golden child. MVP, scoring champ, beloved by fans and players alike. A quiet killer who let his game do the talking. Then in 2016, he made the move. Durant joined the 73-9 Warriors, the team that had just knocked him out of the playoffs. And just like that, KD went from respected to reviled. Fans called him weak, a cupcake, a snake, said he broke the NBA, burned his Thunder jersey before he even landed in Oakland. The Warriors became unbeatable, but it didn't feel earned. Even when Durant won Finals MVP twice, the narrative stuck. He took the easy way out. Then came the Twitter burners, the clapbacks, the growing sense that KD heard it all and hated it. After Golden State, he tried to rebuild in Brooklyn. More super teams, more injuries, more drama, and still, no peace. People don't boo Durant because he's not great. They boo because he was beloved and chose to be the villain. He didn't just chase rings, he chased control. And in doing so, he lost a lot of the love. Kevin Durant may go down as one of the best to ever do it, but to many fans, he'll always be the guy who joined the enemy. Kobe Bryant, the young star you love to hate, before the farewell tour, before the MVP chants, before Mamba mentality became gospel, Kobe Bryant was hated, not just by rivals, by fans, by teammates, even by some in his own locker room. He came into the league cocky, confident, and unapologetically competitive, a teenager who acted like a veteran, called himself better than Mike before he had a starting job. He feuded with Shaq, took 30 shots a night, and made sure everyone knew it was his team, even if it wasn't yet. When the Lakers won, he was called selfish. When they lost, he was blamed. Then came 2003, the sexual assault case in Colorado. Even though the charges were dropped, the damage was done. Nike dropped him. Fans booed him everywhere. For years, he was the NBA's top villain. But Kobe never asked for sympathy. He leaned into the hate. He worked harder, got colder, turned pain into obsession, and slowly the boos turned into respect. By the end, he was an icon, a 5-time champ, a global legend. But in those early years, Kobe Bryant wasn't loved. He was feared, misunderstood, and for a while, flat out hated. Artest, the brawl that defined a career. Before he changed his name, before the redemption arc, Artest was chaos in sneakers. He was a defensive beast, tough, physical, unpredictable. But it wasn't just his game that made him dangerous. It was his temper. Artest didn't back down from anything. Not players, not refs, not even fans. November 19, 2004, Detroit. A hard foul, a shove, a beer cup from the stands. And then, all hell broke loose. Artest climbed into the crowd and started swinging. The malice at the palace wasn't just a brawl, it was a black eye on the NBA. He got suspended for the rest of the season, 86 games, the longest non-drug suspension in league history. And suddenly, Artest wasn't just a tough defender. He was a villain. After that, his image never fully recovered. He bounced around the league, changed his name to Meta World Peace, won a title with the Lakers, and even thanked his therapist during the finals. But the memory stuck. Ask fans from that era what they think of Artest. And the first thing they'll say isn't defense. It's Detroit. Because for all his talent and intensity, Artest crossed a line almost no one ever has. And the hate came fast and hard. Latrell Sprewell. The choke heard round the league. Some NBA players get in fights. Latrell Sprewell choked his coach. Literally. In 1997, during a Warriors practice, Sprewell snapped. After head coach PJ Carlesimo told him to put a little mustard on his passes, Sprewell grabbed him by the neck and squeezed. Teammates pulled him off. He came back 15 minutes later and tried to do it again. The league dropped the hammer, a 68-game suspension. Warriors voided his contract. He lost millions, as well as his reputation. And just like that, Sprewell went from rising all-star to NBA pariah. He eventually got a second chance with the Knicks, played hard, made the finals, even won back some fans. But the edge never left. He turned down a $21 million contract with the Timberwolves, saying he had to feed his family. The quote became a punchline, and nobody forgot it. Sprewell faded out of the league soon after, no farewell tour, no redemption arc, just a legacy clouded by violence, pride, and wasted potential. He had the talent, the fire, the charisma. But the moment he put his hands on a coach, he locked himself into NBA infamy. Some players talk back. Sprewell crossed a line and never came back. Being hated in the NBA, that's not always a bad thing. It means you mattered. You rattled cages. You made people choose sides. These players were loud, dirty, cocky, or just too good. But one thing's for sure, nobody forgot them. This is NBA Explained. Thanks for watching. Stay locked in for more stories on and off the court.